Good day and welcome to Independent Television on the program Talking Politics. We'll be looking at some pertinent issues in the political space and more to, first of all, looking at the local government areas, the grassroots, who people say are some of areas where the politicians get their block vote, and subsequently looking at the coalition and more so the the drive for independent national electoral commission. What has changed the BVAS? Though we saw in Osun election where as a result of the BVAS, Governor Yotola was able to lose his election. So we really want to look at the whole issues to really see if we will be able to get answers. And this particular period of time, I have a very, very resourceful mentor, I would say, and the national chairman of ADP, Engr Yabagi Sani, and also the former chairman of IPAC, right? Okay, Inter-Party Advisory Council. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me on the program Let's Talk Politics on Independent Television Abuja. So first of all, I want to really know INEC as a body regulating, conducting election. Looking at BVAS, people are school of thought that it didn't give us the expected result, especially in the 2023 general election. We also saw the BVAS having some element of sophistication, I would say, by allowing this particular man, Governor Oyetola, to lose his election. So what is your holistic view on BVAS and looking at the integrity issues facing Independent National Electoral Commission, sir?
Very well. Actively we are participating in that election.
Okay, since you say your political party will be participating.
Yes, ADP will participate. Yes, Action Democratic Party.
Action Democratic Party will be participating.
Yes.
Before we run up the interview, I want to really know. I learned you said your ADP, your political party, is not part of the coalition. Why is your party not part of them? Or is it a fake news? Or I want you to confirm that report to us this morning.
No, as far as I'm concerned, democracy is a journey. There's never a stage where you say you have reached the final destination of efficiency, effectiveness, and what have you of democracy. So I believe that whatever mistakes we are making, there are mistakes that can be corrected. And the only way they can be corrected is if we adopt what democracy calls for. What does it call for? It calls for you to be patient. Because this is about, it's not a military administration where you can just coerce people, and then say move and they move. Is that if you want to give me clothes to wear, okay? If you have come to me and say, I want to give you a very beautiful clothes which you will wear, okay? And the first thing I will do, look at you. What are you wearing yourself? The kind of clothes you are wearing. Is it beautiful or is it tattered clothes that you are wearing? So if your clothes are tattered and you are promising me a beautiful clothes to wear, I know that you are just lying. You are deceiving me, because if it's so beautiful, why don't you wear it yourself? So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that those who are in the coalition, in the first instance, what is it that they have which will convince somebody that yes, these people mean what they are saying, given their track record?
Is it that the cake is not large enough to accommodate ADP?
Be convinced that those who are saying coalition really mean what they are saying, and we are tired of sitting down, not doing anything by way of loading it over others So we now want to come back to the position of relevance so that we can continue the business as usual. So perhaps you may need to take a look at the records of these individuals that they are talking about. You mentioned some of them, isn't it? So what is it that will elicit one's interest to say, no, this person talking is somebody I want to follow? Most of them don't have that kind of record that will convince you and push you anything different from what you are having today, because they were all together before. In any case,
Okay, so most likely now you are ADP now is endorsing President Bola Tinubu in 2027, since former APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje said that the North should not present a Northern candidate. Are you in support of it as a political party?
no. Number one, there's no way, and if you look at our record as a party, we have never, supported anybody outside our own candidate as a political party. And you say the former chairman
of APC, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje.
Okay, he was just doing his work at that point in time, but today again, where is he?
Well, was seconded by SGF George Akume.
That what?
That the North should not present a candidate.
No, okay, who appointed them? How were they appointed to speak on behalf of the North? All that we know is that they were elected to and appointed by the APC. APC is not North now. North is a different entity, from APC. And I have not seen, the last time I checked, nobody appointed anybody from the North that speak on our behalf. That nobody from the North should, no party from the North, nobody from the North should stand to contest for presidency of this country. So ADP, we are going to present our own candidate, definitely, because we believe that the constitutional democracy, multi-party democracy system we are practicing dictates that there should be context. The context is supposed to be of ideas, and it's supposed to be that opposition in a multi-party system is a dictum, it's a requirement for the government to function effectively and serve the people. Because if you are within the government, if all of you are in echo chamber, nobody is now dissenting voice, nobody is calling anybody, and you know that all of you cannot be perfect because you are human beings, isn't it? That's why when you have an opposition, the opposition serves the role of a watchdog, to always call the party in power to deliver promises that they have made to the people when they are not doing that, and to also do things that will advance the cause of democracy itself. But if you don't have opposition, in a system like this, you run the risk of killing democracy itself. So this is why some of us cannot. We're not doing it because we have anything against anybody, as a person. No, we are not doing it because we want to ensure that the system functions as it was intended by the Constitution and as democracy itself, expects a system to function. Without opposition, it's no longer democracy. It's no longer a multi-party system. That's why people have been criticizing Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he says he was celebrating the crisis in opposition parties and things like that. That as a president, who is the father of the country, who is benefiting from democracy itself, shouldn't come out to say things like that. He should, in fact, promote the existence of opposition parties, of good governance, and a functional democracy too. The third tier of government, which is local government council that we are talking about, which is the closest here to the people, supposed to function, effectively. What am I trying to say? Elections must be free, fair, and credible at that tier of government. Services, and again, like we have said before, if you can't have credible elections, you cannot have credible people to preside over the affairs of the people at all tiers, national, state, and local. But worst case scenario is when you do not have the local government tier of governance functioning in line with the democracy, which is to have competitive elections. Allowed.
Is it about collapsing or
it has collapsed because
it has collapsed already?
What you have, like look at what happened in Lagos, the very recent elections they had there. It's an organized crime, isn't it? And it's not only Lagos. All local government elections that we have had so far, unless your party is in power in that state, there's no way you win even a councillor. If they give you one, it's just for the sake of saying, okay, then just leave this one. Otherwise, it's 100% the party in power in that place. It's not the people, because it's not everybody that is in power in the state, isn't it? You have other political parties, and you have those that are not even in any political party at all. They may have their own views, different from you people in power, but you will not hear anybody's voice. So the local government, as the third tier of government, has collapsed. And that is why the former president, Buhari, tried by all means to see how he can revive and make it vibrant, so that the electorate, like you rightly said, that elections are local, isn't it, will begin to now experience what is called democracy. Let's take a look at elections that have been conducted. It's not democracy. It's a case of the governor saying, oh, that my cook will not cook for me again. I want him to go and be the chairman of that local government there. Or that my driver, I don't want it to be my driver again. He's the one that's going to be the councillor or chairman in that place. That my errand boy, is the one that you put there. That one working for my wife, who is washing her clothes and something like that, go and become the councillor there. They'll give the person councillor. So that's how it is done. When the counting was going on of the election, the coalition, divine, forces used me to change the course of history in this country, because you remember what Dino Melayo and all the other political parties were calling for, that they should stop the counting of that votes. And they had very, very strong position for saying so. What is the position? That the law does not support what INEC was doing at that point in time. So on behalf of IPAC, I stood up and said that no, this is about this. It's about Nigeria, and not only that, the process also has a built-in mechanism for venting your grievances and presenting your case for redress. And that's how Mahmoud was able to continue with the process. So the point I'm trying to make is that, you see, elections in this country, on the surface, you may be talking about performance, and what other things do you normally look at, But beyond that, the sentiments, those primordial sentiments, very, very strong.
And it looks as if it cannot be changed by maybe somebody who understands the dynamics of this sentiment, because if the likes of Sadao now, the likes of Nambi Azikiwe Awolowo couldn't change it, then who will change this sentiment?
No, they were not operating the
They
system.
were operating regional system.
Regional system, and if you like, if you want to be, now with the benefit of hindsight, perhaps what has made those sentiments to become potent, to be weaponized, if you like, is because of the system of government that we were practicing that time, the parliamentary system that we had that time. Because the parliamentary system had made people to believe in themselves, to look at themselves as nations within, collective collection of nations in what we call Nigeria at that point in time. Because that is why it was difficult for Aulu to win any elections in the north, And in that different, and also Aulu too, for some reasons, some strange reasons, went and picked his running mate from the southeast. At the time he was running for the national president election. So forgetting about the entire north, I'm an Hausa man or Nupi man, and you see I'm an Igbo man or something like that, or this one says I'm a Muslim, so I'm a Yoruba man or something like that. So that's one thing that the presidential system, was aimed at achieving unity. That is why those who today are crisscrossing the country and saying that, we must have, what do you call it, restructuring. And when they're talking about restructuring, what they're saying is we must divide the country. That's what they're saying. But they're not coming out to say divide the country. But they don't know that the train has left that station a long time ago by way of the constitution that we have today. The constitution you have today only agrees and promotes anything that will reinforce, unity of the country, not divide the country. That is why also the issue of state police is a very, very big issue that many people are looking at it with suspicion, that this may be the first step towards disintegration of this country. If you look at what has happened with the issue of local government administration that you are talking about, whereby the states governors now weaponize the political power that they have as presiding officers over the election itself, by appointing the state INEC. You can see how they have now excluded any other person that is not in their party. So you give them, after you have given them that political power, you now give them the power of coercion, which is the state police.
American type of democracy. We have seen state police, county police, even the university system have police. Maybe that is what they are preempting. But in Nigeria, you are an insider and you think that state police will not have that oxygen.
With America or any other place. We have our own peculiarities. We are different, whether you want to accept it or not. As a people, we are different. We are not Americans. We don't behave like Americans. You see, we are people that have
some of the.
No. What you copied, what you copied was, the system, but not the character. We copied the system of governance, isn't it? That the drafters of the constitution that time, if we allow the recent things to go on, give it the character of what we have as a country, Nigeria, it will only be drifting far, far, far apart until now, eventually you now call your own sovereignty that, no, we are independent people now. So, but again, there are merits and demerits. But if you are somebody who believes that today the trend is towards big influence, which comes with big population, which comes, and I'm talking about the global setting now, and of course we play big in the global setting, isn't it? So if Europeans are trying to see how they can bring themselves back together into what they call European Union. You know, even though Britain tried to see how they can, but you can see the kind of problems they are going through and what have you. See, so and then if they are doing that, and if you can now take a look at what is happening in China, you know, and so therefore America is also a big force because of their population and the wealth that they have. European Union is also a big force. So who says? In fact, some people were not. We are talking about Nigeria, isn't it? Restructuring. People are even aspiring that we should have one Africa as a continent, as a country, so to speak.
Whoever is going to be a very, very sophisticated AU chairman, don't forget, you saw some of the countries that have exited the AU that they want to be on their own. And I really think that
ECOWAS rather.
I think we should be able to look at the dividends of democracy. If since 1999 we are still maybe trying to persuade people to come for election and vote, I think we have a lot to do. So political parties, if they are not giving us the dividends of democracy, should we just rely on hope, aspiration, and waiting for God to come down from heaven?
Democracy presupposes that there is rule of law, not rule of man. Isn't it? So until we now begin to understand that the rule of law is at the bottom of having a successful government, or having an effective government, or having a system that delivers for everybody, is the rule of law. But if we continue the way we are going, without taking the lesson of a rule of law, which means that we are all equal, you know, isn't it, in the eyes of the law. It's not that somebody said, well, like we are talking about America, that's why I said the system was based on certain assumptions. You know, that it's a constitutional democracy, so therefore rule of law will be allowed to have sway. Yes, you know. So, but if that is not happening, you know, if you can't predict what the law, you know, is, if you cannot get fast delivery of justice, then we are not practicing what we claim we are practicing. Because in America, like you know, which you said we copy from America, what we copied from America, as I'm saying, is the system of government, but we have not yet imbibed the character and the etiquette of that system itself that says that rule of law. That's what is in America, rule of law, regardless of who you are. He has done in so many cases, you know, like just, you know, impunity, you know, and some system decisions that they have taken, like the one that happened recently in my own region, which is the hypertech, you know, the hydroelectric, you know, producing areas, you know, commission, you know, where clearly the Act of Parliament says that the chief executive of that commission must be from the states
where
dams are sited, you know. So the areas that are within the commission that identified as. So you now go and pick somebody who is far away from that place. You know, pick a woman that is from Oyo State, you know, to come and be the MD of HIPAC. I mean, what do you call it? Ampadec. So what kind of, you know, whereas you are a president by virtue of these laws that have been respected and observed. If the laws are not observed, how can you be the president of this country? It's the constitution that is putting you there. Is that not true?
It's absolutely true.
So then if you violate that constitution, what are you doing to yourself?
Should we say there wasn't an experience and that was why he went towards that Oyo State?
Yeah, you blame the advisors, the people, the president's men. You blame them because they are supposed to advise him that, sir, this is against, you know, the constitution. The constitution that put us here, that make us to call ourselves the president or whatever we are calling ourselves, says that we cannot do this. This is what he say we can do. If you must give this woman something, find something from somewhere. It's a big country. We have so many positions that you can give her.
All right. Thank you so much, Engr Yabagi Sani, for speaking to us on Let's Talk Politics on independent television. Thank you so much, and it's nice meeting you again, sir.
Thank you.
You and with the national chairman of Action Democratic Party, Engr Yabagi Sani. He has stated obviously the challenge in the political space and how we can look at the constitution, follow the constitution step by step, clause by clause, section by section, to make sure that we will be able to look at how development can spread from the top to the local government areas. But meanwhile, also he has also stated that ADP as a political party is not part of the coalition. That, for citing an example, that if somebody wants to give you a cloth to wear, you must first of all look at what he is wearing before he will be giving you a cloth to wear. If he is also the person who is saying come over to ADP, coalition, is putting on rag, there is no how such an individual will be able to give you clothes to wear. It has been a healthy conversation, a robust conversation, where I'm very, very sure that in the coming days or week, the local government, the democratic managers, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and also looking at the constitution and clamor for state creation, I do hope that with this particular interview, that the policymakers will take decisions and see how we can promote our Nigerian brand. My name is Bernard Esied on Independent Television on the program Talking Politics. Thank you and have a nice day.